What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's Q&A. I'm going to overlap some training footage over this to try and keep you interested a little bit, I hope. What I'm putting over is 5 sets of 5 with 256 kilos or 566 pounds on the squats for the last squat session of the week, and then we're going to throw in 1 set of close grip pull-ups, or supinated grip pull-ups I should say, and that's going to be over it. I've literally just finished about maybe 5 minutes ago, and I'm filming this straight after, so I'm a bit out of breath, forgive me. But anyway, into the Q&A, as always, 6 questions. If you have any questions, drop them down below in the comment section, I'll add them to the list. I've got quite a lot to get through, so I'm going to be doing these, trying to do these a little bit more regular. But anyway, the first question is, hi Mark, you squat with a pretty wide stance, and yeah I do. How do you gradually widen your squat stance? Your question kind of answers itself. You gradually do it. I mean, a wider squat stance isn't always necessarily the way to go about things. What I personally would recommend for anyone who is beginner to intermediate with regards to their numbers, to just simply pick a stance that feels good, feels comfortable, you feel confident with, and you feel strong in. Once you get to good numbers, say once you get to maybe like a 500-pound squat, you can then really start kind of focusing on maybe trying to widen your squat stance a little bit to try and somewhat reduce the range of motion. But ultimately, if you want to do it, then you just very, very gradually do it. I mean, you don't want to just go from one day, say your feet are 15 inches apart and the next day they're 30 inches apart. You don't want to do that. You just very gradually do it. But I don't personally see that there's a huge need for it. I would simply just say, if you are a beginner to intermediate, just focus on picking a stance that feels comfortable, feels strong, and you feel confident with. And if you want to widen your stance because you feel you'll be stronger, then gradually do it. Are pause deadlifts the best way to perfect your form? First of all, I do not believe there's such a thing as perfect form. I believe everyone's always in the pursuit of perfect form, but I don't believe there's such a thing. Yes and no. As you know, I'm a huge proponent of pause deadlifts. Not everyone, but the absolute vast majority of the athletes I work with do pause deadlifts. Anyone who's a competitive powerlifter usually does pause deadlifts. And a few other people that are big proponents of them. Ben Rice, I know he's the reason why I'm doing them. Ben Rice is a huge proponent of pause deadlifts. Pete Rubish does them as well. They're the kind of 2 that comes off the top of my head. Now, with regards to the pausing the deadlift, I and my athletes and whatnot pause the deadlifts roughly around 2 to 3 inches off the floor. So you're not pausing your knees, but we're pausing about 2 to 3 inches off the floor. Now, the reason for that is, number one, it does allow you to get more weekly deadlift volume in, which is good. Number 2, allows you to deadlift more frequently, which is good. But number 3, it really teaches you to value your positioning. Now, a lot of people you see sacrificing positioning for momentum, and by doing so, they really tend to pull themselves, start in a pretty sub-efficient position and pull themselves out of position, and by doing so, they have a lot of problems locking out the weight, both on conventional and sumo deadlifting. Now, pause deadlifts really teach you to value your positioning, and if you don't value your positioning, they will expose you. If you yank the bar as hard as you can off the floor and completely sacrifice positioning, then you're not even going to be able to pause the weight 2 to 3 inches off the floor because you'll already be past it. On top of that, it just really teaches you to value your positioning. So I feel that pause deadlifts are an extremely good exercise to do to allow you to value your positioning and improve your positioning, and then by improving your positioning, then that is also going to carry over onto the competition style deadlift you do, whether it be sumo or conventional, by starting in a more optimal positioning, being able to maintain that positioning throughout the movement, and having a smoother lift, and it just really teaches you to value your positioning. So I feel it is a good thing to do, but I don't believe there's such a thing as perfect form. Styles of lifting besides DUP you have done. I wouldn't necessarily say DUP is a style of lifting. I would say DUP is a method of programming. A style of lifting, I don't even really know. I wouldn't say it's a style of lifting, I would say it's a method of programming. I've done linear periodization and I've done daily undulating periodization. They're the two that I've done. I did linear periodization from basically beginner to all the way through kind of intermediate stage, and kind of the past year I have been following daily undulating periodization. But daily undulating periodization, DUP, isn't a program, it's simply a method of programming. There's no DUP program, there's literally millions of combinations you could do with daily undulating periodization. It's simply a method to program. And all DUP is simply you're varying the reps and sets on each day. So say for example you do 5 sets of 5 on a Monday, you might do 6 sets of 3 on a Friday, for example. So yeah, thoughts on decline bench press. I think that if you, depends on what your goals are. With regards to me or someone that's a powerlifter, I would say that there are more efficient ways to spend your time. The time that you would spend doing decline bench pressing, I feel you would have a more efficient time would probably be spending probably doing the competition grip bench press. Remember, the squat, bench press and deadlift are skills in themselves, and say you're a football player or a soccer player for you Americans, and you want to get better at passing, so you want to get better at passing the ball, you're probably not going to spend lots of time doing volleys or doing volley shots. Could it have some carryover? Potentially, but would your time be spent more efficiently practicing passing? Yes. So with regards to decline bench pressing, would you have a more efficient time spending doing the competition grip? I would say so, and also decline reduces the range of motion even more than your competition grip bench press. So you're gaining less strength. You're gaining strength through a shorter range of motion. Therefore, I don't really believe it necessarily has that much of a carryover onto the main lift. It will have some, but you could there's more efficient ways to spend your time. I would say probably doing the competition grip or close grip. Who is your favourite YouTuber? Roman Atwood. Roman Atwood is without a doubt my favourite YouTuber. I really like him. I watch all of his vlogs pretty most days, and I watch a lot of his pranks whenever he brings them out. Opinion on George Leeman's style of training. To be honest, I've never really I love George Lehman. As you probably know, you see speeches in the background, I listen to all his speeches a lot of time, I watch a lot of his videos. I don't fully know what his style of training is. I've never really closely monitored his programs, but in very layman's terms from what I've seen, I believe he does a lot of high reps, everything's to failure, lots of sets, and kicks his ass. I believe that what he does has worked for him, and what he does has worked for a lot of his clients. I do not believe that it would be in my best interest to do it, and I do not believe that I would want my athletes that I work with to do it, but I believe that he was the all-time American deadlift holder, and I also know that a lot of his clients have had good progress off him, so take that you will, but I love George Lehman. He's a really good guy, based off of his videos, and I like his speeches, and I just like him as a person. So I hope you enjoyed today's Q&A, guys. If you have any questions, as always, please drop them in the comments down below, and I'll speak to all of you guys next time.